The true value of an MBA is when you are getting selected, there is higher probability of you getting a job. CFA on the other hand is CFA in India can roughly cost you something around MBA in India could cost you anywhere ranging between, let's say. Hi and welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Shataksha Sharma. I have historically created a lot of interesting podcasts and covered a lot of interesting topics such as how to break a career in management consulting, whether MBA is right for you in 2025, what could be the other alternatives, and of course a career in international affairs and public policy. Of late, I have been getting a lot of interesting queries on one topic and I finally decided to make a dedicated video on this topic. And the topic is around whether you should pick up an MBA or whether you should do a CFA. I know many of you might actually be confused whether they are comparable, or if they are comparable, then what's really the comparison. And of course, if you find this video helpful, feel free to of course subscribe to this channel so that you always get notified whenever we make such interesting and career related topics, especially in such tough economic scenarios. So when it comes to an MBA and to a CFA, I've divided this topic into 6 different parts. Of course, if you want to know about my introduction, I'm someone who has done my MBA from ISB Hyderabad with a Fletcher exchange. So my experience directly of course will be impacted from the MBA point of view, but that does not mean that my answers will be biased. Absolutely not. I have known a lot of CFAs, I have worked along with a lot of CFAs, and that's how we are going to be doing an objective analysis and a comparative analysis. Number 1 is the roles offered. You might want to think and you might question, Shatakshi, what kind of roles do I get when I complete an MBA from a top institute, and what kind of roles do I get when I complete my CFA? So let's start from an MBA standpoint. When it comes to an MBA, when you finish your MBA from a top institute, the kind of roles that you get are largely around general management, leadership role, category manager. In fact, in management consulting, I joined a management consulting firm after my MBA, in product management, in marketing, in operations strategy, and in general finance. However, on the other side, when it comes to a CFA, they pick up niche, very technical finance roles such as in private equity, in hedge fund, in credit analysis, in investment banking, in asset management, in financial analysis as well. So very sharp distinction of roles when it comes to picking up the roles after your MBA and a CFA. Let's move towards the second category, which is my experience. In my experience, when it comes to MBA students or postgraduate MBA students, over a period of time, if you look at their trajectory, then they will pick up more management related, soft skills related, I would say, roles. You will see that these kind of roles face a lot of conflict, people conflict, on if not a daily basis, then on a very regular basis. And I do not think that MBA really taught me how to deal with conflicts, but it's more about not just being soft spoken, but having that strategy how to deal with people, how to get the best from the people, how to reward, how to penalize. On the other hand, when it comes to CFA, the kind of roles that they pick, so for example, during my time with Government of India, one of the fiscal analysis work was happening. A CFA was hired to actually specifically work on the economic projections and the fiscal deficit and the fiscal analysis. So those are the second kind of very technical, very deep finance roles that you can anticipate based on my experiences with the 2 roles. The third section, which is the learning style. Now, MBA typically is done in a much more peer-based learning style, in a much more case-based learning style, and of course, the true value of an MBA is when you are getting selected, there is higher probability of you getting a job rather than done in that online format. If you really compare it with CFA on the other hand is done in a much more self-paced manner. You could be at your home, you could be preparing for CFA examination, you could really crack it. So it really depends what kind of learning environment do you really thrive in. Do you like surrounding yourself with people? Do you like brainstorming with them? For example, at Global Governance Initiative, we have Impact MBA program, which is an alternative to international MBA program to break your career into management consulting, strategy, and product management. We have an intense focus on peer-to-peer learning, brainstorming on real public policy and business problems that are surrounding us in 21st century. So that's the third section. The fourth section is around cost, and I think this is one of the major parameters. Now, MBA in India or CFA in India. Let's start with CFA. CFA in India can roughly cost you something around 3 lakh if you look at the registration fees and the enrollment fees and your study material fees as well, which is very much on the lower hand. MBA in India could cost you anywhere ranging between, let's say, 18 lakhs till 35 lakhs from FMSs of the world to top IIMs and ISBs of the world. So if you can afford an MBA, then that's how much your cost is going to be, versus CFA of course is going to be on the lower end. Then let's move towards the fifth section, which is your time duration. Once again, let's start with CFA. A CFA preparation could last anywhere between 3 to 4 years on an average. An MBA typically, mostly in India, is for 2 years, but of course, let's say we take an example of ISB in India, let's say INSEAD outside, that is a 1-year program. So once again, for many professionals, they want to understand how much time are we going to invest in this journey. So in CFA, you see on an average of 3 to 4 years, and on MBA, you see an average of 1 to 2 years. With that, I finally come to the career stage. When it comes to comparison, typically you'll see that young professionals or people with very low experience gravitate towards CFA because it gives you really good technical skills to join a finance sector or join a private equity or a hedge fund if you get good ranks. Versus you will see mostly people with 5 to 6 years of work experience. I'm not talking about IIMs, that's a very separate model, but most of the top MBA schools in India and outside work upon taking people who have some experience in the market and then polishing them. And MBA is typically used to pivot your career and many a times pivot your geography as well. So that's officially the overall comparison on the 6 parameters, whether you should choose an MBA or whether you should choose a CFA based upon your career goals and what stage of life you are in. And of course, if you're looking to break a career in management consulting, public policy or product management, feel free to check out GJ Impact Fellowship Program, where you get employment support, but most importantly, you get a one-on-one mentorship with McKinsey, BCG, Bain-like mentors. And of course, you join weekend masterclasses with senior leaders, CEOs, CXOs, and of course, product managers during the weekend. And of course, you are going to be seeing me as well. But most importantly, I think time and again, we have been doing global governance initiatives since 6 years. And I've realized that I always felt that upskilling is the biggest strength of GGI. But time and again, people have come back and told us it's the community that really was their strength of pillar during GGI journey. Even after graduating, they met a best of friends, people who were vouching for them, people who were giving them job referrals. And it's this kind of strategic advantage you would want to have during an economic downturn. I wish you all the best. And that's officially the wrap up of this video. Take care and good luck.